that wonderful transition. Alright, how are we looking in terms of audio? What's up, everyone? Got some music. Got the chat here. Happy Halloween to everyone. I really wish OBS would show my chats. I guess I'd have to look at the stream output. Anyway, it is Halloween, and this news kind of came about, and I figured I'd talk about it briefly, and then we'll just play a few credits on House of the Dead 3. Probably give a little bit of time before people show up. I probably should adjust this, the chat. What's up, Santo Potter? Yes, I have heard those comments. I will get to those soon. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. So what do we got planned for today? So I don't want to give my thoughts just so far. What is this? Get this out of my way. I'm gonna give my thoughts so far on this bit of news, which is obviously pretty big for a video game franchise that I've gushed about and always have really loved. We'll talk about this. There was an article about it. This is Deadline. I'm doing a stream capture here on my computer. Talk a bit about it. I'll just give my initial thoughts, but this is just the initial news that just dropped, just been revealed. There's no trailer or anything. And then after that, I think I should be set up to play House of the Dead 3. And when I change the House of the Dead 3, I'll probably put a BRB page, because I gotta grab a water. I just forgot about it. Not sure how long I'm gonna talk. Yeah, I'm intrigued about it too. So let's just jump into this news. Just dropped today, completely out of left field, about a new House of the Dead film. And it's obviously huge news because obviously House of the Dead being more of a niche horror franchise compared to Resident Evil, but is still beloved and popular among fans. Definitely was a staple of the arcade genre, the light gun games, and it's pretty innovative in terms of how it tried to subvert some of the zombie tropes. I don't know, I think it really is historically important. This article actually mentions it too, but apparently a new House of the Dead film, as the title says, is in development. There's concept art of it, and is apparently being directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. He is the director of the Resident Evil films. And I know I've heard mixed responses about that. I have never seen any of the Resident Evil films. I'm not a huge Resident Evil fan. I'm not too familiar with this guy's lineup of films, but apparently he is set to write and direct the film. But actually, at the end of the article, it's kind of weird. It says they're pitching it, so it seems like the film is not even approved yet. I'm not quite sure if I understand it. We'll get through it. But yes, Paul W.S. Anderson is apparently set to write and direct a film based on the House of the Dead. Obviously, there were two House of the Dead films before. The one by Uwe Boll, which was very, very not well received. And then the sequel, which did not have Boll's involvement. I've seen the first film exactly once. I have it on DVD. I've never seen the second film. I have it on DVD just for collector's sake. But both films generally were not well received, mostly because they didn't really feel like they were like as close to House of the Dead as possible. Like, they were kind of loose adaptations, particularly the first House of the Dead film, which was set on an island. The second film kind of tried to go a bit more in depth with the stories and the characters, you know, the plot lines of the games. Getting the mixed responses, but that's, you know, those were the two films, the only two House of the Dead films, and apparently, from what I've heard, the negative reception of the first film resulted in Sega being hesitant to have movie adaptations be made of their franchises, understandably so. because they want to protect their brand. So, that's kind of changed, mostly due to the Sonic the Hedgehog film, which the article does get into. But, you know, the Sonic the Hedgehog films by Paramount, those did very well, and it seemed like Sega is a bit less skeptical about film adaptations of their IP. So, yeah. They're doing a House of the Dead film. So, producer, Anderson, so Paul W.S. Anderson, he's also not just writing and directing it, he's also helping produce it. Jeremy Bold is helping produce it. Story Kitchen's Dimitri M. Johnson. These names I don't recognize. Toru Nakahara, I believe, is a lawyer, someone from Sega who basically was in charge of overseeing a lot of the media for Sega, of like film adaptations and stuff of that nature. And he is in a producer's credit. He also was involved with the Sonic films. But yeah. So Anderson and Bolt worked together, so they've done Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, Mortal Kombat. I've not seen any of those films, but you know, the article kind of goes into a bit of the history of House of the Dead with where it is in the zombie genre historically. You got this concept artwork, which I'll kind of go into. But yeah, the article kind of goes into just summaries of the games. But, you know, Anderson talks about how, you know, he's a fan of the games, which I guess is a good sign. You want to be passionate about the games if you're directing a film based on said games. And hopefully be knowledgeable about the story, the characters, you know, the worldview and setting. And what's interesting, the first bit of information that's kind of interesting is, so this film is based on House of the Dead 3, which coincidentally we're going to play today, and the game took place on Halloween exactly 5 years ago today, which is a funny coincidence, and I guess it's appropriate that they saved the news for today. I'm going to turn the music down just a hair. So they're basing it on House of the Dead 3, and, you know, he mentions the characters. If you played House of the Dead 3, you know the story of, you know, the AMS agents, you know, who are basically tasked with wiping the world clean of the, you know, creatures that have taken over the world. And after the first couple of games, House of the Dead 1, 2, 4, Scarlet Dawn, chronologically, House of the Dead 3 is the last in the series, and much of the world has been eliminated by these incidences, these outbreaks, you can say, and AMS is dissolved. And there's still a task force of agents kind of hanging around trying to figure out the cause, the source of these incidents. And one of the leaders is Thomas Rogan, who's a character from House of the Dead 1. He goes missing in an old abandoned research building, and his daughter Lisa, who was mentioned here, partners with Rogan's former partner G to go into that building and rescue her father. And spoiler, there is also a character named Dr. Kyrian. He is the son of, Daniel Kyrian. He is the son of Dr. Kyrian, who is the son of the mad scientist villain from the first game, who was responsible really for causing a lot of the creations of these creatures, these biological engineered nasties that have taken over. And so that's kind of a huge part of the story, obviously. Also, I'm sorry, I missed the chat here. I have Restream pulled down. What's up, Nelson? So yeah, it's kind of interesting going to talk about like how this is based on House of the Dead 3. It's just a really interesting idea. Because I feel like if you made a House of the Dead film adaptation, I feel like you would start with the first game, with the mansion. But it is interesting how they are going with the third game. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, basically, it's based on the third game. And this paragraph, Anderson basically talks about how his kind of approach to this film apparently is being more action-oriented because of the games being like rail shooters and stuff like that. And the whole film was kind of like that, but, you know, the visual effects were not particularly great, and again, there was a disconnect because the characters you don't really remember from House of the Dead, and, you know, the acting for that film also left a lot to be desired. But, you know, I think an action-oriented approach for something like this, maybe with some slow moments here and there for story, kind of like the cutscenes in the games, I feel like it makes sense. I feel like that's the pacing that House of the Dead really has to go to. It's not survival horror, it's more like just action horror, in my opinion. So I'm not surprised this is the approach he'd like to go with, and I personally think it's the right call. Wow, Restream is showing... Hang on here. Can I refresh Restream? It's kind of awkward. Restream is like very far behind in terms of the video capture. Here we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, Restream is a bit frustrating, I tell you what. Okay. Yeah, so... Yeah, it does kind of make sense, and you see all this artwork, and there's been a lot of people talking about the artwork. This is all concept images. So here's Magician. Which is interesting because Magician is not a boss in House of the Dead 3. He appears in the first 2 games and 4 special. He never appears in the 3rd. So it looks like if they're gonna go with Magician appearing in this game, maybe it's either in a flashback to the first game, because this is based on the 3rd, which is after the first game. The 3rd game had flashbacks to the original game. You know, maybe Magician will appear in a flashback when they talk about Dr. Curion's past. Or maybe Magician will become a villain, and you actually fight, the characters fight him. But they got artwork of him. The test subjects. There's been a lot of commentary about these images and people saying they're AI. I really don't know. If it's AI, I guess that would, you know, not really look the best, because you wanted to have more human heart and soul into it. But I'm not quite sure. It's just, the only thing this article says is that this is concept art. Design-wise, I think Magician looks really cool. It's kind of hard to see his facial features. But he looks really creepy. You can see his guts. He looks pretty grotesque. If they can get, like, the pulsing bits of his body, you know, like the pulsing arteries and stuff, I think that would look really good. I think so far it looks awesome. He actually kind of reminds me of Chariot from House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn, with just the way he looks. Kind of a more darker, metallic look to him. Grotesque but still elegant for sure. Got the test subjects here, so the creatures. What's interesting, and we'll go to it briefly, but quickly. Fortunately, this is the one low-quality image. So, the file name for this is Strength. So, Strength is the boss from House of the Dead 2. So, I'm not sure, again, if this is just art, like, Strength is not actually going to appear in the game, or I keep saying game, the film. I'm not sure if the Strength is actually going to appear in the film, or he's just there in the concept art, and this is just showing a slice of what the game, or the film, Jesus, what the film could look like, which I'm not sure. But it looks pretty cool. Although he doesn't look like... It's kind of hard to tell if he's actually huge and towering like he is in the second game. It looks more like a regular chainsaw enemy. But especially the overalls. I don't remember Strength wearing those. Oh, that's too close. I don't want to dwell on this too much because I kind of want to get to the game, but... What's kind of interesting going back to it is in the article, Jeremy Bolt talks about House of the Dead, and he acknowledges how the director, the game director of the series, Takashi Oda, he did not want to call the enemies zombies. He wanted to go in a different direction and call them creatures. You know, they're not undead, they're copied and created in labs. They're like mass-produced Frankenstein's monsters. So it is interesting how the producers actually acknowledge that, which is close to the games. You know, the Uwe Ball film and the sequel, they're pretty much just undead zombies. But I like how they are kind of going at least from the sounds of it, this is just a preview, but I like how it sounds like they're really trying to be closer to the games, trying to be closer to the roots of where these creatures came from, how they're made, how they behave, and like obviously they're way more intelligent than zombies are. You know, they can operate machinery, different weapons, or different speeds, different sizes. There's a lot they can do with it in terms of the, you know, the creatures they make. For, you know, they're keenly intelligent, which another thing that set House of the Dead apart, which I totally agree. And yeah, Wheel of Fate, Death, Magician. So they mentioned, you know, they mentioned different creatures here. And yeah, and speaking of death, so this article, or sorry, this image, I can't talk today, I apologize. So this image right here is Death, apparently, according to the file name. Looks, well, he's got the chains. He has chains on him like in the game, but his face looks a lot different, a lot creepier. And there's the skull bat, or the club that he has, which we will see in a little bit, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it definitely seems a little bit like article filler, but again, it's just a concept thing, and, you know, they're pitching it. We'll see what happens. You know, I think really, it has to be true to the games in the storylines. It's got to be good quality, and I really hope it turns out well. And then I guess the final bit, we'll just kind of wrap this up here and then go back to our typical scheduled program of just playing some light gun games. So Toru Nakahara, so he's head of production, movies and TV at Sega, and he's involved. And he acknowledges Sega being skeptical about being involved with their, you know, film projects based around their IP, and it's understandable. As mentioned before, I mean, the Ueball film, I have not found a source actually confirming this, but the Ueball film may have triggered them to go down this path. And apparently they're very protective of House of the Dead, which is great to hear that they're, you know, they really care about it. It's also understandable because, you know, it's their IP, they own it, they need to enforce it. Make sure it's depicted in the best possible way. But he mentioned that their skepticism over like productions of their IP, it's kind of dwindled to be more positive now, you know, compared to its negative viewpoint. You know, with more productions being made, the Sonic the Hedgehog films from Paramount definitely made them change their mind. So yeah, I mean, they're going into potentially making a House of the Dead film. The end of the article says they're pitching it. Also, what's up, AAA? The end of the article says they're pitching it. So, which sounds to me like in that language, like it could still be rejected. I'm not quite sure. But again, it's still very early. It's just a news article that just popped up. But I definitely wanted to take the time to talk about it. Because, you know, I love House of the Dead. I've gushed about it before, but House of the Dead was always my childhood. And, you know, the first two films did not really seem that well received. They didn't seem like they were true to the source material, because, you know, some people don't care about the story in these games, and that's fine. But, you know, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with it. And I think what the development team of the original game was trying to convey, what they were trying to do with this sort of dark aesthetic, with the first game at least, and just, you know, very much inspired by film, like David Fincher's 7 was a huge inspiration for them. Kind of having this gritty aesthetic. You know, if the film can go back to that, and, you know, have its action, maybe have its cheesiness here and there, but also have some darker moments, you know, be action-oriented and fun, but in general just stay true to the games, and maybe even accomplish something that the games couldn't do. You know, these games were limited story-wise because of their short lengths, because they're arcade games. You know, they don't want people stuck on the arcade game for too long because someone else has got to play it. So potentially the film could expand upon a lore, although, again, it's kind of doing its own thing because it's kind of jumping to House of the Dead 3. So, the too long didn't read. I'm not sure how this film is going to turn out, but I do hope it turns out well. So definitely you've got this, you've got more House of the Dead sequels potentially if director Takashi Oda is to be believed. You got House of the Dead 2 remake as well. So House of the Dead's been getting a lot more activity now than it has been over the last decade or so. And I am happy for it. I just do hope that, you know, this is a quality film that, you know, it's respectful to the source material overall and is, you know, it's just fun to watch and is worthwhile to make. I don't really want it to blow up in Sega's face like how Uwe Ball's film did. I want it to be great. You know, I say that as a fan, I say that as someone who likes light gun games and, you know, Sega as a company. You know, I really do hope this turns out well. But not sure how it will be, but I'll definitely keep my eyes peeled for more news and we'll see what happens. But there's my 31-minute rant. Not a big fan of the death design. Yeah, I kind of like the skeleton look of the original death. Like if we, so let's go on the Wiki of the Dead, and I actually still have. Oh, there's a concept art. Can I compare the two? Wow, that is way too close. Apparently, I can't even switch. Well, I kind of wanted to do a double. This kind of works. For some reason, my keyboard shortcut to cut the screen half and half isn't working. But yeah, I do kind of like the original skeletal, stitched look of the original Death. You know, the face here doesn't really look like Death from the game. It's kind of looks like a face that would fit Strength more as a character. But, you know, again, it's just a few concept art images. So anything can happen. And there has been discussion about people saying, oh, this is AI once more, and I'm not sure if it's true or not. But I'm not here to like gauge like, oh, these images made on AI. I'm just commenting on the article, just how it's presented. You know, I hope it's good. And anyway, that is my 2 cents on this film. And I don't know. There's really nothing else to say about it because it's just so early. It's been announced today, but if there's more information, I'll definitely help share it. I run the Wiki of the Dead Twitter account. I help on that, so I'll try to share more information on that whenever it comes. Just looking at it eagerly, with, you know, just hopeful it's good. I'm trying to temper my expectations. You know, it can still disappoint, but, you know, I don't know. I'm thinking too far ahead. There's a House of the Dead movie, and it's potentially in development, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, I do think it is a step in the right direction, just to get House of the Dead more on the map, as it is a niche franchise, but it would be nice if it could shed its arcade roots and be a bit more mainstream than it was before. But it's got a lot of competition with other zombie franchises, like Resident Evil, which is always will be way more popular than House of the Dead. Yeah, that's the movie. And I am out of words to say about it. There is a House of the Dead film allegedly in development. So yeah, it hasn't fully, haven't fully processed it yet. I think it kind of tempered my expectations after being disappointed with the House of the Dead remake, but I do generally hope it's good. And yeah, that's the thing. So what am I gonna do? I'm going to take a very short break. I gotta grab a water or something. Hey Kraken, what's up? Yeah, there's a House of the Dead remake. House of the Dead film that apparently is in development. I talked a bit about it. Let me post the link in chat. I completely forgot about it. Here's the link to the Deadline article, which talks a bit about it, being directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. But yeah, just want to get my thoughts about it. I'm gonna take a quick break. I gotta grab a water. I'm like parched from talking about this film for like 34 minutes. And what we're gonna do for the rest of the stream, we're just gonna hang out and play House of the Dead 3, and I hope that works. I I thought it was Wes Anderson, yeah. I'll take a short break, a very, very short break. I just gotta grab a water, and then I will transition. And I've got House of the Dead 3 on PC. I've got my trusty light gun for IR. We should be all set up. And we'll just hang out and play a few credits of House of the Dead 3 in celebration of Halloween, because exactly 5 years ago today, House of the Dead 3 took place, so you gotta do something special for that, right? Alright, I'm going to quickly jump to a BRB screen, grab a water, and very shortly I will be back, and yeah, we'll play some House of the Dead 3. Alright, be right back, guys. I magically returned. Alright. Let's see here. Alright. I did not mean to show my desktop, but that's fine, I guess. Okay, let's get all set up here. So this is kind of jank, so I'm going to be playing on the, this is a PC mod for House of the Dead 3. It's called the arcade version, and it plays basically like the Sega Chihiro arcade release. And it's kind of cool. Has a lot of the same reload speeds, which is pretty nice. And has some of the sound effects from, well, I should just stop talking and pull it up. Let's test this out here. Good start. Let's see here. Alright. So there's no startup game menu, it's like the arcade version, there's a track mode.
December 18th, 1998.
Let me know how the game sounds, if it's too loud, if it's too short. The only thing that's a problem with this version, I have to like pause it and then close the game. Not like actually close it, but like minimize it so I can go to OBS. If I click outside this window, it will kill the it will close the window automatically, so it's kind of janky like that, so you'll have to bear with me. Excited to constantly leave my seat to trick-or-treaters this year. Yeah, unfortunately my mom took care of that, but it's quite an experience. There's quite a few Michael Myerses roaming my neighborhood. No way to play Time Attack, unfortunately. I probably should get the... I have the original PC version somewhere. In the future, I probably should do some time attack runs. The time attack on this game is pretty fun. The game is definitely designed for it. It's kind of jank. I have Twitch chat here, and then I have my YouTube here. Keep both hooked up.
Got to believe in yourself.
Hope the game audio is sounding okay.
I'm not gonna stop until I find my dad.
Rogan, where are you? It's a lane.
Year 2019.
Gee, over there.
Let's do this quickly. What a mess. See ya.
Damn.
The House of the Dead 3.
Maybe a little bit different. And the logo is different too on the arcade version. So some of the textures are actually updated. I believe I also have a texture patch that fixes a few of the textures. Here we go. So hopefully this works. Chapter 0. Alright. How's everything sound? Damn.
Let's do it. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, there's no reload sound. No reload pop-up, too. It's kind of jarring.
No one's responding. We're running out of time. Let's move out. We can't forget our mission.
So for those who don't know, this is like the... Sounds alright? Alright? Alright. So this is chronologically the last game in the House of the Dead series. So, 2019. There's never been a House of the Dead game that's taken place after this. And this, you start off in this prologue level. You play as Thomas Rogan, character from the first game. Venturing into the research facility with Dan Taylor, who's his partner. The latest version of this mod has the reload prompt. I'll have to install that. This is like a standalone kind of version of the game too that doesn't require like a CD image that had left over on my drive. I could never find it like available for download afterwards, so I kind of had to dig it up from one of my old drives.
How many of these things are there?
How many of these things are there? Alright.
We found one.
Just gets clubbed. Damn. You can't be your...
My dear Daniel, I'll never give up, no matter what the
TFW.
doctors say.
Scarlet Dawn is before 2019, but has modern smartphones. Yeah.
If it will save your life.
Scarlet Dawn's kind of weird story-wise. It's a bit inconsistent. Because after House of the Dead... So the chronological timeline... What's up, JD? The chronological timeline of this series is House of the Dead 1 in 1998, House of the Dead 2 in 2000, House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn... Oh, sorry, House of the Dead 4 in 2003, Scarlet Dawn in 2006, and then this game in 2019. And after the events of House of the Dead 4, it's kind of established the world's been, like, you know, on a collision course and it's destroyed. But you play Scarlet Dawn, and you go to, like, a mansion, a high-class mansion. Oh yeah, you can actually shoot these sandbags for points for some reason in this game, which is funny. Scarlet Dawn takes place in, like, this high-class mansion, seemingly unaffected from what's been going on in the rest of the world. It's not well explained. But it's kind of inconsistent from the rest of the games. AMS Tech. Yeah, they have these these PDA smartphones.
Get away.
got these partner rescues here, so you have to save the people. Save G or Lisa, depending on which player you are. If you're playing in 2-player, one player gets captured and then you have to save them. If you fail it, they get attacked by the creatures, but they actually don't take damage. Whereas they change it in Scarlet Dawn, in which if you fail to save your partner, you take damage, which is extremely punishing. Alright, so here's death. I'm gonna go for a safe 1cc, I guess, for this run.
Let's keep going.
So just like Vampire Knight, this game has like kind of boss fight interspersed throughout levels sometimes. Like sometimes you don't always fight the boss at the end of the stage. Sometimes you fight him in the middle of the stage. The design philosophy definitely taken from Vampire Knight. Which, another pretty interesting game which came out before this. It's kind of a spiritual successor to House of the Dead, and was both influenced by it and influenced House of the Dead right back. So it's kind of interesting. The scoring system in this game is mostly the faster you defeat enemies. So you get excellent, good. The faster you kill them, the more points you get. That's kind of the approach.
Gee, above you! What certainly is persistent.
There we go. Trying to shoot the weak point.
Gee, there!
Got it. Lisa, slide under it. Rogan.
The director jumping into the third game has some big balls for that, definitely. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out for the House of the Dead film.
You all right, Lisa?
Yeah.
You get different grades based on your performance, like how fast you clear the stage and stuff like that. It's been a hot minute since I played this game, so I'm kind of rusty at it.
Was my father always involved in missions like this?
Yeah. Who knows how many times her father and I survived by the skin of our teeth.
So it's kind of funny playing this game knowing that there's going to be a film based on this game. So we're kind of like seeing a preview of potentially what it'll be like.
It's the key. This will remove the barrier between life and death. You don't need to fear anything anymore, Daniel. Not even death.
Bewilderment.
Gee, what happened to the world?
The 1998 Curian Mansion case happened, I suppose. The project was a threat to humanity itself. Your father and I put a stop to
I
it.
still fondly remember playing this game with my dad at Dave & Buster's. Man, those were the days.
It's a dead end.
It's the House of the Dead Ends, apparently. Ooh, that guy's down. He was just a pair of legs. So obviously with the shotguns, there's a lot more gore. It's the last game really to have, in the arcade series at least, it's had any kind of major amounts of gore. The series would get heavily censored, starting from House of the Dead 4 and moving forward. This one's hard. This partner rescue.
Lisa, back me up.
There we go. So there's no, because of the absence of civilians in this game, because, well, most of the world is pretty much dead or fled or whatever. Instead, it's those partner rescues. So if you successfully complete all the partner rescues, that's what gives you the bonus room. before the final boss. There's a coin right there. It's kind of hard to see. Getting some really weird scoring tech. Like, apparently shooting enemies in the legs is actually the higher scoring potential, because you get more points per shot overall, compared to when you kill an enemy by shooting their head. So, kind of a weird way to actually do the opposite of what you're expected to do, or asked to do in House of the Dead. Score well in this game. Also taking a lot of purposeful damage against bosses, because you can do chip damage on bosses and shoot them repeatedly in places that aren't their weak point, and you can farm more points that way. It's kind of weird. Terrible. I always like how the flashlight follows where you're aiming. It's kind of a thing they did in the second game, and then they did it in most of the sequels, and it's pretty cool. Nice kind of way to... I think you mentioned it before, AAA, like flexing the IR grids they use for the arcade versions. Instead of using CRTs, they just use IR sensors.
What is this place? Some sort of feeding ground? Trapped.
Trapped.
It's coming.
I'm ready. This boss always gave me a lot of trouble growing up. It doesn't give me too much of a problem, but it can be annoying, and this is one of those bosses where you can, like, kind of spam. Like, here, you see, do chip damage on him instead of actually shooting his weak point. And you actually get more points that way, but you're gonna take damage. So you have to, the scoring potential is like taking damage on purpose while farming these points. But then you're likely, if you play well enough, you're probably gonna get those lives back, because you get a high rank if you do well on the stage. Stop it in time. Because you start at the same place as where you left off in the previous phase, for that particular one. Give me nightmares back in the day. He's a creepy boss. Probably one of my least favorite bosses, mostly just because I never found his design that interesting. It's kind of creepy. I like the gimmick of the falling bodies. I would hope that was in the House of the Dead film. Falling bodies. For a creepy effect. Shines the light in the last place you fired. So they changed it on the Dreamcast for unsurprising, because they have the no IR sensors. It's the traditional light guns. Excuse me. Yeah, he's invincible, but each shot, I believe, to the boss, even at that moment, even if he doesn't have a cancel gauge ready, will score points. So you kind of have to rapid fire like crazy.
So, you and my father stopped Kyrion's plans.
It's kind of weird how you have to play this game. Sort of take damage on purpose and
Maybe someone's trying to
Kinda-
continue his legacy.
farm points on enemies. It's really weird. I never knew those things until I watched, like, Kaz gun shooting play it.
Of human morality. Most of my researchers have left me.
Get the nice flashbacks with Dr. Kyrian from the first game. His son Daniel. So I imagine that stuff will be there
You getting along with Rogan?
in the film, hopefully.
My father always put work ahead of his family. I barely have any memories of him spending time with Mom and me.
Ouch. That's pretty harsh.
Well, what do you expect? He's always making us worry. I should slap him upside the head.
Also, like, everyone in this game has, like, big hands for some reason, and, like, I always found the character animations where they kind of wave their arms around to be sort of funny.
Watch out for the tentacles!
Jungle in here.
Jungle in here. I am not looking forward to the boss of this stage. I think is the worst in the game. One of the worst in the series. Turns out how you fight him, he's just so exhausting. So there are branching paths in this game. As you saw in the first chapter, you can go through the parking garage or the front entrance. And the paths that you choose in that stage, and then the order in which you play the stages afterwards will determine the paths you take. So each of these 3 selectable stages has like 2 different versions. It's a bit confusing. I haven't memorized like all the different path permutations.
These things are getting on my nerves.
Slow down. That was a weird bit of slowdown for that part.
Finally, we're out. But what the hell is that thing?
This boss, I think,
Lisa,
is one of the more disturbing ones in this franchise for sure.
Daisies just yet.
Such a grotesque design. It's like, what on earth is that? There's a lot of firing on this boss. The tentacles here, you can actually shoot them in advance while they're on the ground and get extra damage. Ooh, it was very close there. So yeah, cancel out that one a little bit early because I shot it on the ground. I believe you still get points if you continue shooting the tentacle even after you stop the attack. And this is the part where you really gotta fire super fast, where the head comes out. I didn't stop at the time. When he gets in your face, you gotta you kind of have to like empty a full clip and then reload repeatedly to stop that attack in time. I'm not sure what it's like in multiplayer. Probably they scale up like the damage.
It looks like it'll open if we shoot it.
So the boss for the reload speed should have been slowed down. Yeah, it's so strange how some of the ports of this game, the reload speeds are not consistent. It's super wild. That boss is a nightmare, but it's way better than like this version of the game or the arcade. Or by this version, I mean the PC arcade version patch has the arcade version speeds of the reload, which I just much prefer. Shooting quickly was like probably one of the more fun aspects of this game, and just when you have that huge reload delay. Oh, he's still alive. Crap. We put that huge reload delay, it just adds a lot of unfair damage, or a lot of unfair challenge to the game. There we go.
Phew. Got out in one piece.
Dun, dun, dun. Got an S. So that's... S-Rank is 2 bonus lives, but max health, so... 600 points. Alright, another stage.
I know just what Dad would say if he was here. You've got to believe in yourself, Lisa. He always says the same thing over and over.
I like G's expression. It's like, get me out of here.
I found it, Daniel. These genes will change the future. The magician and the wheel of fate.
I'm hearing Wario when he laughs. It's been rumored that Charles Martinet voiced Kyrian, but it's never been any confirmation from Martinet himself.
This isn't good.
Kinda has that vibe with his voice, but who knows?
Gee, over there.
Over there!
Not even
Here's death, not the death we saw in the concept art, come the original death. So this kind of goes back to the formula where you have like a boss just chasing you. And like the level is like it alternates between you fighting the boss and then you fight regular enemies, which again was done in Vampire Knight before this. Vampire Knight on PS2 also has the same reload sound effect, the reload that's in the home ports of this game. I think the arcade version also has it too. Oops. It's also, I think the first House of the Dead game were like, maybe not the first, but I like how you defeat the enemy and you can shoot them afterwards, which you kind of have to do to quickly speed the game up. Because if you don't do anything, they just kind of flop around on the ground before actually dying. Despawning.
Looks like we got away.
Yeah, he was in Ratchet and Clank. You know, Electropunk from the Weekend of the Dead charity event, I think he ran into Martinet at a convention. Got a picture with him, but didn't have time to talk to him about it, unfortunately, but seems like a nice guy. Kind of like it when an actor like plays against type and they just, you know, like Robin Williams in one hour photo. Kind of like a character, like someone who's just like done voices or like done roles like in a comedic way or happy, fun way, and then they just do like a darker role, and that is if this is actually Charles Martinet. It's kind of a nice little interesting role that you don't typically get from him, I guess. This part's hard, I think. So that part, you actually can shoot through the character, and there's no life penalty. So when G's attack, you actually can just shoot through him and kill the enemy holding him. And you'll save him. And it just makes that scene much easier. Another bonus life. There's Raymond.
I'm never going back there again.
Yeah, so that creature's name is Raymond. He's got a huge buzzsaw. So that reload speed, man, like, can't go wrong with that. So when you're playing the PlayStation 3 version, you can actually shoot faster because there's 2 reload buttons. Or sorry, 2 firing shoot buttons. So you can kind of just shoot 2 or 3 bullets very quickly, and then you gotta reload at the right time.
Lisa, back
I believe there's an automatic reload if you run out of bullets and continue firing, and it's slower than the manual reload. So it kind of, when I use my PlayStation Move to play this, it just feels like I'm playing like a musical instrument, the way I have to hold it. And the way I have to, like, kind of quickly shoot. Yeah, those iframes, man. House of the iframes. This part always got me as a kid. I managed to dodge it there.
Let's hurry.
You gotta get, like, really good damage early on to stop it.
Just back off already.
Damn it. Yeah, because that's right. The parts of the ceiling block his head.
When a lady says no, she means it.
Yeah, it's just... I'm not sure what happened with the ports for this game.
That was close.
I'm sorry. I should have reacted faster back there.
You're being awfully honest, aren't you? Don't sweat a kid.
I know.
Also, the PlayStation 3 version
In front of my
has an
dad.
audio glitch where the audio starts cutting out as you shoot enemies. It actually really hurts the game, because I think the sound design of this game is pretty solid. And when you're not really hearing the impact of enemies, or like it's getting cut off when you shoot them, I think it really puts a damper on the game.
Until I find my dad.
I still have the PlayStation 3 port. I haven't played it much. There's a robot up there. Got it. Gonna shoot it a bunch. It's worth 3,000 points. Also, we got all the partner rescues, I believe, so we're gonna see the bonus room, which will be cool. Oh yeah, and this arcade version, the
Find a way to go faster.
PC arcade version here, it caps your lives at 5? By default, in the PlayStation 3 version, I believe you can actually have like more than 5. It's kind of weird. Except if you play on the ranking mode, which actually properly caps your lives. You have to be playing the ranking version to have it cap at 5. When the PC version, like, by default, you can have like 9 lives max or something. Or you can get it up there. And I feel like it kind of takes away a bit of the challenge of the game. Kind of makes me feel like I'm playing Virtual Cop 3 with maxing out at 9 lives. And it's not like you're untouchable. It's not like you can't take damage. You can make mistakes, but just... I don't know. It's a bit too much. Yeah, no need to apologize for the rant, AAA. Yeah. The gameplay of this game is definitely not for everyone. It's got some weird quirks.
He's the one who saved my life.
I feel, and playing this game for score, I don't know if I could do it. Like, probably could, but like, I feel like it would hurt my enjoyment of the game. Kind of like House of the Dead 4. I really don't like the scoring system in 4. It just never gelled with me.
Leave everything in your
What you're actually supposed to do for points, I felt like went against the whole point of the game and the type of weapon you're given.
Believe in yourself.
This game, like, there's a lot of weird, strange holes in the scoring system. It's not for everyone. I mostly just play it for the story and just relive those memories that I used to play this at Dave & Buster's. I'll be playing this, or it'll probably be broken over the weekend here. Saturday, I'll be going to the Galloping Ghost Arcade in Brookfield, Illinois. There's like a meetup with Sega fans. This is the 3rd one they've done. I'll try to show up. Galloping Ghost has House of the Dead 1 through 4. The sad news is that a lot of those games are in pretty rough shape. Also, this is a mini-boss. This is the guy who died at the start of the game. They have House of the Dead 3, and it's seen better days. This part's funny. I like this Kage right here in the distance, and he just lands on his butt. He just gets up. Worth the few points that I lost by waiting and not shooting him. There's a twin shot I kind of missed. You can twin shot both enemies. Life, bonus life. Alright, final hallway here. I keep forgetting about that damn reload. So here, I didn't quite get it. It is possible to shoot between the coin and the robot, and because of how the hitboxes work out, in doing so you can actually hit both at once. I didn't quite have enough time to get the robot, but you get the idea.
Fate must be broken.
But how?
I managed to hack the program.
Yeah, it's some pretty good iframes, just to see that butt fall animation. The speedrun, though, I think is a fun aspect of this game, for sure.
The future belongs to the people who are alive here and now. I'm prepared to live the rest of my life bearing the burden of my father's crime.
Okay. Just gotta believe in ourselves.
Yeah, the sound mixing in that cutscene is a bit awkward. When they're hanging out, just wait until one is about to hit, widens the hitbox and get the twin shot. It's a smart strategy. Alright, let's see how this fight goes. I like that phase. If you can stop it fast enough, he kind of continues moving exactly where he left off, and you can, once his invincibility wears off, you can still shoot him again. He's doing the charge attack again. So I like the boss. I think it's like when I was a kid, I didn't realize this was Kyrian himself. You know, resurrected in this kind of celestial form, but it's really cool. This part is horrible if you're playing for points. So you have to evade these projectiles, and then you have to shoot him in the legs, which does chip damage. And you actually get more points that way, but it depletes his health slower. And also, the longer you take to complete this phase, the game will kind of recognize that, and just to kind of urge you and make you hurry along, it will speed up the projectiles. So you eventually have to stop him and empty his cancel gauge. So you have to do this. I don't think it's fun, but it actually is part of the strategy. So like that, I believe. I can't even look at chat because I got these flying beams of light. Yeah, this fight can last an extraordinary amount of time, way longer than it should if you play for the scoring strat like this. And I'm sure people don't really want to watch me do this. I don't really want to do it. But you get the idea. You have to be patient. Oh yeah, you can shoot multiple projectiles down in one shot because your shotgun has enough spread to do it, which is nice. And during this final phase, so this is the last part of the fight, you do the exact same thing I just mentioned to you. Shoot him in the leg, and then evade this. And again, the longer you take to defeat him in this final phase, eventually these things, these shock projectiles, the electricity will move faster to the point where you can't even like actually react to them. They just move at ungodly fast speeds, and you will take damage. Then the game ranks down the difficulty. It's just, yeah, it's obnoxious. Here we go, 1 CC. So you get the idea of what you have to contend with for points. It's RNG based with the boss. Yeah, the projectiles just go straight to your face. It's unavoidable damage. Yeah, I feel like they put it in the game. Like if you cheese this boss out enough, the game will try to urge you along to hurry up and go. Which is pretty rough, but
we'll handle it ourselves.
You definitely can do that.
Problems to worry about.
You're not my father.
You're not my father. Rest in peace to that Thailand Lycan gamer who would play this game and like act like he was in the game, and then he screamed, "You're not my father" at the top of his lungs.
Begin walking toward the future.
Hey, let's
At a public arcade. It's so funny. That's a great video. All right, that was a good clear.
Thanks for taking care of Lisa. Actually, she did a good job taking care of herself.
She can hold her own.
Do you think this will change anything?
It's their future.
Maybe nothing will change. Maybe everything will be different.
We've done our part. The rest is up to them.
I like the music here. It's like Hooper redeems his family's legacy. Yeah. Yeah, for those who don't know, Daniel Curian is played by Kevin Miller, who is the voice of Sly Cooper. He's also Smarty in Virtual Cop 3.
Change.
Ooh, this ending.
What's wrong?
I've done what I had to do. Tell me, how am I supposed to live the rest of my life?
What are you talking about? You got your whole life ahead.
I don't remember getting this in the arcade.
What life do I
In the arcade version, it freeze frames in red on the last part of that cutscene, its end. But instead, it just jumps to black in the PC version. Sass. That's a good score, a good run. You are Special Agent. The triple S, I believe, is the highest. It's a good run. Sure, save. This game actually has a save feature. No longer bound by the past, I've begun walking toward the future, turns into a creature. Yeah. Is any looking different than we? For some reason, Daniel appeared purple or something, we turned to a creature. I think there may have been a difference like that. There's strange deviation in the home port.
The House of the
Oh, let's play again, I guess. I've looked in the files. There are House of the Dead 2 assets in the data, which I feel like this may have been the Xbox version, which had House of the Dead 2, and then they ported it and they just had House of the Dead 1. But there are some House of the Dead 2 assets still in the code. I think AFS Explorer or some other program could like extract the textures. There's also a very large amount of unused speech lines in this game, referencing story beats that never happen. Like Daniel talking about the creatures and saying how they're programmed to attack everyone except him, which they probably got rid of because they actually can damage Daniel, so that didn't make sense. Among many other unused speech. I was gonna call them call-outs, which I have pinball on the mind. We call speech and pinball machines like call-outs and stuff. But like, you know, dialogue in this game, I guess. Didn't quite get it.
Stay out of my way.
Purple Daniel. Secret final boss.
How many of these things are there?
I've got... Did I get a twin shot there? I didn't pay attention. It's so hard to, like, look at the text that appears when there's so many enemies to fight. Bought 2 games in one, didn't even know it. Yeah, I think that was like... I'd seen House of the Dead 2 in the arcade prior, but the Xbox version of House of the Dead 2, I think that was the one that introduced me really to House of the Dead 2. And it was weird playing it on a controller, reloading with one trigger, shooting with the other, and then maneuvering the crosshair with the analog stick. It was,
It's been too...
it was totally not awkward to control at all, but I got a bit good at it.
You ready, Lisa?
I promise Mom that
I don't remember if I 1cc'd it.
Let's go, G.
I think that was before I understood the concept of the 1cc. Let's take a different route just for this stream. So you can choose parking or entrance. Parking is more score, but just for a variety of paths, let's pick this path. I got a giant spinning coin in the background that just spins wildly as you shoot it. So yeah, these sandbags you actually can shoot for points. Every shot to those sandbags is actually worth a decent amount of points. Also wish there was a way to show the score. Maybe I can show the score in the loader. I just didn't have it enabled. I'm not sure. I already had the game started, so I'm not gonna stop it intermittently just to check the setting. Show must go on.
Get away.
Being the poor sap who moved to the HDTV world, I learned to get used to playing on a controller 1cc Time Crisis 3. That's incredible. That game, Time Crisis 3, I think is like just... That game could really snowball out of control. Actually, it's within control, but it can snowball and make things really scary if you make a few mistakes. That's awesome that you're able to 1cc it with just a controller. That's... I don't know if I could actually do that. That is terrifying. Especially the Wild Dog, Wild Fang fight and with Giorgio Zod at the end. That whole third stage is just nightmare incarnate. You have dead corpses in the background. It's kind of hard to see. Hey, we're just passing through.
Calm down there.
I'd be upset too, yeah, because you just want to play with the gun, because that's just how the game was designed. And yeah, rescue mission. I've actually not played it, but I've heard how hard that game is. Or that game mode, excuse me, because it has hostages, and they throw hostages in an already brutal, Time Crisis game. So
You all right, Lisa?
results are about what you expect. It's really punishing.
Shaken up.
So this is a different path. The genome board.
Was my father always involved in missions like this?
Yeah. Who knows how many times your father and I survived by the skin of our teeth? What do you think your father did for a living?
Yeah, this was at Dave and Buster's is like the super deluxe.
Daniel, it's the
There's an arcade in Naperville, Illinois called Odyssey Fun World.
between life
I
and
think it's in Naperville. I used to go there as a kid. There's a video someone did of a walkthrough of it, and they had House of the Dead 3 standard and the original House of the Dead. At the Chicago Pinball Expo, I wound up running into the guy who did that video, and I asked him, like, what did they do with the cabinets? And he's like, they probably just sold them. If I'd known that, I probably would have tried to get one of those games.
Your father and I put a stop to it, though.
Though it's kind of weird, it was on a second-story floor arcade. You probably had to use an escalator or an elevator to get it out. Also, there's Dr. Curie in the background. A little painting as a reference. And then Emperor from House of the Dead 2, there's a painting of him to the left. It's like a low-quality texture.
Let's go down.
It's glad to see the elevator door button still glitchy as hell.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
There's a twin shot there. There's a few moments where you can get twin shots. Some moments you can't.
Lisa, back me up.
There you go. That tends to be one of the harder partner rescues, in my opinion.
Terrible.
I struggle with that one. Lovely Z fighting. Don't use the Z word, man. I think it's on the original Xbox version too, but I could be wrong. I have a copy of it on Xbox. There's a life up. I forgot there's a life up there. Or almost forgot it. These guys with like that try to do the lariat attacks always reminded me of my uncle who has like a similar hairstyle. Like Guile from Street Fighter, I guess. A little bit. Another part of the
Out of
rescue.
my way.
I think, like, yeah, I don't know where I'd rank this game. It definitely is not one of my favorites, but just thinking about it more, I think really it's just like the branching paths of this game being a bit more limited, I think kind of holds it back. Really the highlight to me is the story and the voice acting. As funny as it may be when I say that, I actually think the voice acting in this game is actually pretty competent. This was at a period where, like, in terms of light gun games, I mean, Sega put this out. They put out Virtual Cop 3, which also had really stellar voice acting, which came out around the same time. And then House of the Dead 4, they had some pretty competent VA. But I know their efforts are kind of inconsistent with the voice acting quality, but it's definitely one of the things that stood out to me, and I think it kind of gave the game like a little bit of an emotional edge, especially like the its ties to family conflict, which
Oh man!
is a thing apparently that'll be in the House of the Dead film.
Some sort of feeding ground?
But I do hope
Trapped.
I do hope that film does the series justice. If it comes out, if it actually gets accepted by Sega, 'cause they're apparently pitching it. So the official House of the Dead Twitter, the Japanese Twitter account. Also, I'm an account. Let me stand up. sit up, I should say. I'm looking forward. The official Japanese House of the Dead Twitter retweeted the movie, so it, you know, it could be legit, or at least it's just showing their support. I don't want to jinx it. I feel like my controller on this gun is just gonna fall off because of playing this game and just how much you have to shoot. The controller on my gun for IR is a bit flimsy, honestly. I had this replaced before because the controller just the trigger just fell out. Also, like at some point, it stops making that satisfying clicking noise. Like it kind of, I pressed it in so much. At some point, I may buy a better gun for IR. We'll see. It's pretty expensive though, so I have to really consider that. I can afford it easily, but I don't want to spend a lot on it unless I really have to. I got a point press here, take damage on purpose while we're here. It's a little bit of extra points.
Had enough yet?
There we go. We got the S ring, so we'll get those 2 bonus lives back.
So, you and my father stopped Kyrion's plans, right?
Maybe someone's trying to continue his legacy.
Also, like, a lot of the character models are awkward with how they just have their mouths open.
Daniel, have I stepped outside the bounds of human morality? Most of my researchers have left me.
They're still impressive for its time. This game kind of had an interesting development background because there was a period of time where they considered using like
My father always
very cartoonish, cel-shaded visuals that
memories of him spending
never
time
actually
with me.
came to be.
Ouch. That's pretty hard.
And then I think this game was supposed to be on
He's
Dreamcast.
always making us
It was on the Naomi 2 hardware, and then it
upside the head for Mom.
or it was on Naomi, then Naomi 2, and then Dreamcast. Or sorry, then Chihiro, Xbox-based arcade hardware. So this game had interesting development behind it.
Watch out for the tentacles!
I think this is the game that Corey Maru from the website of the Dead mentioned. Like I think that may have been like the first game he played or something like this one. Like he just remembered seeing this at a movie theater and like just being, you know, being scared by it or something. Could be wrong, but like we played it on Xbox. This is a creepy game. And pretty, I think probably one of the more disgusting House of the Deads for sure. Yeah, you definitely do. Still alive.
It's like we're in something.
Interestingly, it resets the timer for like killing those enemies.
Lisa, back me up!
So if you don't kill them when they throw their projectiles, and they return the timer for shooting them for the combo, like resets, so you can get an excellent on them even if you don't get it the first time. I still have some old videos on my drives of my friends and I playing this at GameWorks. That was the other arcade
Lisa, this way.
I'm not ready to be
that had this game.
just yet.
They had the big screen version. They replaced the projection monitor with a flat screen, which is pretty commonplace because those projection monitors are a real pain to maintain and We're on Obtainium, so it's just easier just to use throw an LCD in the game. Too slow there. These claws are pretty random. Oh, it's too close. You gotta get a rhythm going. It's very taxing on your hands. Probably even more taxing. I was playing this in the arcade with the shotguns. Well, I think the developers mentioned the physical strength of the gun was sort of and like how it added to the challenge of the game and how you had to hold it. Kind of influenced them in a way.
I never was any good at gardening.
House of the Dead 2's James was so immature compared to House of the Dead 4. Gary's a more likable character. Yeah. I'm pretty fond of Gary. I was disappointed that, you know, they were going to have Gary in House of the Dead 5, and then it got canceled. Got shelved or whatever, and then the documents are being hoarded by some collector and I think got sold off and may never see the light of day. At least I hope they see the light of day. Kind of sucks. The guy wanted like a ridiculous price for them though, so it's unlikely, I think in the first place, you were going to get our hands on those documents and archive them. Very sad, but we'll see what the future may hold. Never say never. And yeah, the voice acting definitely in House of the Dead 4 just went up to 11 in terms of quality, which is pretty great. There we go.
Worried about Rogan?
Alright, the West Wing.
I know just what Dad would
So because I picked the other level before this one, this stage has a different route now.
He always says the same
It's
thing over and
kinda
over.
confusing.
I'm sick of it.
I'm sick of it. Yeah, all the changes in the home ports, I'm sick of it.
These genes will change the future. The magician and the wheel of fate.
That laugh. The laugh is so long it actually goes into the loading screen, which is funny. So it's all flashbacks to the first game, which was in 1998. The wild thing is that Daniel Curian, Dr. Curian's son, he was actually first mentioned
Over there.
in a 1998 Japanese House of the Dead 1 guidebook. So years before this game came out, which was like in 2003, I think this game came out in 2003. Years before this game was even released, Daniel Curian was already like kind of mentioned as a character, and they actually implemented him in the timeline. And then the manual for this game mentions the events of 2003, the world collapse, which wound up being explored in House of the Dead 3. So it's kind of wild how some of the things that were just sort of casually mentioned in manuals wound up being major plot points in later installments. Like, that's like, what a clever attention to detail. I gotta see the years, because it had a timeline of years in the House of the Dead 3 manual. I wonder if, like, they have any years referencing that they canceled House of the Dead 5, because House of the Dead 5 was a prequel like House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn, but it wasn't in 2006. I think it was in 2012. Could be wrong if that was mentioned in this game's manual, but... Yeah, House of the Dead 4 is in 2003 as well, you're right. No month or day, it's just 2003.
Lisa, back me up.
I hesitated like a second too much, and I paid for it.
I'm never going back there again.
Butt shave.
Hey,
Don't touch me there.
looks like he's gonna call out. Let's go up.
Hey, what's up, TJ Kitsune? When we get a home port of Scarlet Dawn? I really hope we get a home port, but I'm sort of feeling like we won't at this point. But I could be wrong. I think the biggest reason why is at the moment Sega is still actively, as far as I'm aware, they're still producing the game. I think it's still listed on their website. They're still manufacturing it. It's selling well for them, which I think is great, but it's still in the arcades basically. So they don't want to put it on home consoles, because if they put it on home consoles at least at the same time as the arcade version, then everyone will, you know, not play the arcade version, or most people will not play the arcade version, I guess. But they don't want it to cut into their profits. Also, the game has been playable on PC through very specific means, which I'm not be surprised if Sega's aware of that. Unofficially playable on PC, I should say, so they may think that there's not much reason to port the game if it's already been out online in that fashion. I would like to support an official home port if they like added gore, if they polished up the game, added the missing subtitles, fixed the sound mixing, maybe made the moon fight a bit more fun, and added support for the Japanese version with like the coin system, but like localize it for America. I think it would be a fun port. I'd play it. I'd buy it. I'd own it. But only time will tell. So we'll see.
When a lady says no, she means it.
Yeah, and the controller thing is always a concern. A-ring.
That was close.
I'm sorry. I should have reacted faster back there.
You're being awfully honest, aren't you?
Dustin.
Don't sweat it, kid.
I know. How come I'm so stubborn in front of my dad?
The Wheel of Fate. It's wild to me that House of the Dead Remake has PlayStation Move support, but apparently has no calibration menu. Yeah, it's broken, what I understand. Kind of ridiculous, actually. Then again, almost everything about that game, in my opinion, just feels half-baked or broken or unpolished. So it's not much of a surprise. And furthermore, not a surprise either that they never polished the game much and fixed those issues. It's really disappointing. So I still think the PC version of Remake is the best way to play it. Because you can crack the game to have like gun support and overcome those issues that the other versions like. Also, if you have a really good PC, then it's just going to run better. At least in theory. I've heard some people complain the game even runs like crap, even if they have decent gaming rigs. I'm not quite sure. I've forgotten everything about House of the Dead remakes. I just stopped playing it.
Dad!
I really don't like that game.
Lisa, I figured G would bring you here.
I've been a broken record about it, probably. Even Death Crimson, one of the worst games for Sega Saturn, had a calibration menu. Yeah, it's...
Wait, G!
Pleased to meet you, Mr. G.
I don't know if they rushed the game
Dr. Carrion was my father.
and they meant to put that stuff in, they forgot, or they really did not know how to handle that light gun support.
Can prevent disaster.
Whatever the reason, I think they failed, and it's disappointing for fans who want to play the game the way it should be played, with a gun.
All right.
So,
I leave everything
yeah.
in your hands. Remember, Lisa, believe in yourself, no matter what happens.
when I heard that they were going to do it on Nintendo Switch, I was kind of like, yeah,
I understand what that really means.
we're going to aim with our, little Switch controllers, gyro controls, and
Just wait.
it turned out to be just as terrible as I thought it would be. That was a rough time for me, man. I forgot I had to reload. It didn't give me the reload thing. The mini boss here, Casey. Oh no, Yukio, I'm sorry. Casey was the fan name before people found out his name was Yukio. Hey Daryl, what's up? I'm sure you've heard of the news. It's been spreading like wildfire, I guess. Oh. That was scary, I almost quit the game. My finger slipped and hit the pause menu.
What is it that
Wow.
you're trying to protect?
I need to get that one shot down. Some life up. I think I probably would have an easier time getting the twin shot with a crosshair, but I kind of try to prefer playing without crosshairs if possible, but with some exceptions. Almost got it. Almost got the robot.
What the?
When it falls over like that, you have a few shots left to actually destroy
I
it.
spent the last 19 years watching this evil grow.
Yeah,
I know
that was my reaction too.
but the law of fate must be broken.
The guy who directed the Resident Evil films is allegedly making a House of the Dead film,
That should give us
and they're actually trying to keep it close to the source material. And one of the guys at Sega who worked on the Sonic the Hedgehog film, who manages the Sega film projects, like, is actually pushing for it.
the rest of my life bearing
Wild times. I was not expecting that announcement to happen on Halloween. And the Japanese House of the Dead Twitter retweeted it, so it's probably legit. Oh yeah. She keeps going in those movies. It's just, yeah, I'm not really sure who's gonna be in it. But we'll have to wait and see. I talked a bit about the film and my initial thoughts just based on the announcement alone for like 30 minutes at the start of the stream, and I kind of rambled for a bit, but I just hope it's good. Hope it does justice to the series, it's loyal to the storylines. But I'm not sure how it'll turn out. That was a bit too close. Man, this fight's so exhausting. Hey, Thrift Bites, happy Halloween to you too. Thanks for stopping by. Let's play some House of the Dead 3 to celebrate this holiday. And this game also takes place in Halloween 2019, so 5 years ago today, the events of House of the Dead 3 happened. The EFI Research Facility incident. Not doing the score strategy. You actually can just shoot. For those that don't know, you can actually like farm points playing this fight extremely slowly and just shooting Wheel of Fate in the legs for chip damage and repeatedly evading this attack. Eventually the game will punish you for doing that for too long and will make these projectiles move ridiculously fast and almost always guaranteed to hit you. Actually, I think there's a point where they do become unavoidable. And then when you take damage, it ranks down the difficulty. But I don't feel like playing this game for score, at least in this moment. It's more just hanging out, playing the game for fun. Wonder why they pick House of the Dead 3 first rather than House of the Dead 1. That's another interesting story. Yeah, I'm not really sure why. Unless they want to start people like in the action where like a lot of the world is collapsed, you know, introduce us to the characters and I guess handle the House of the Dead 1 stuff in flashbacks. Maybe they thought the focus of family and like the conflicts that's sort of in the story of this game would make it be interesting for film. Like Lisa's relationship with her father and Dr. Curien and Daniel's relationship. I'm not quite sure. Hey, Nukibachi, would rather take a House of the Dead 2 remake update. Allegedly, on ArtStation, there's an artist who's Polish and apparently made models for House of the Dead 2 remake, and there's like a picture of Eric, the laser arm guy, and Keith, who's the lizard, like models, which may have possibly been leaked. I don't know. As someone brought that to my attention, I kind of doubted the legitimacy of it, but that was just an...
Hey, let's
I don't
go.
know.
They're waiting for us.
I imagine House of the Dead 2 remakes, they're still trying to figure out what to do with it and hopefully make it better than the first one. Polish it better, try to avoid the mistakes the first remake did.
She did a good job taking care of herself.
And just hopefully it's a better product, but I don't know.
It's their future.
Can't be as bad as Uwe Ball, at least.
Everything will be different.
Yeah, the Uwe Ball film is... it's quite an experience. I actually picked up the second movie on DVD because I saw it at a thrift store, and I just like, you know what, let's just grab it, just to add to my House of the Dead collection. I have both films now.
Wait a minute.
The Uwe Ball film, I think, is not the greatest.
Things are already starting to change.
Because it's very, like, it feels like you can just remove the title House of the Dead and remove the film footage, and you'd have a completely different film. But they tried to connect it to House of the Dead in really flimsy ways. It just doesn't feel like It doesn't feel like House of the Dead. It doesn't have a lot of the same characters. The premise does not follow the logic of the series. They claim it's a prequel to Kyrian, but like it doesn't make sense for Kyrian's character. It's the 3 is the most dystopian, which could pique interest. Yeah, it kind of has that vibe to it. Sass. Special agent. Your special agent rank. Nope. Not JM. I'm JMH. Show up. Yeah, that's kind of funny. I was thinking about the movies as well. And then the news just showed up. Yeah, sure. Rewrite it. I'll play through one more time. I think that'll be a good end to the stream. I think 3 credits, because each game is like 30-some minutes. So yeah. I'll take one more credit. Visibly tired. But... Alright. One more. Hey, Gus. Hey, happy Halloween. Thanks for the welcome from Mexico. Thanks for watching. Sorry I delayed the response to chat. I don't have Restream up, so I can't see both streams at once. I have Twitch here on my second monitor, and then I have my phone propped up for YouTube. But many thanks. Hope everyone in general is having a good Halloween as well. Mine's been kind of uneventful. I'm too old for trick-or-treating. My friend's having a Halloween party, but it's like tomorrow, so it's a day late. Wonder who's gonna dress up for it. I'm not dressing up for it. But that should be fun. And then over the weekend I'm going to Galloping Ghost for a Sega Bits Sega arcade meetup. Your Galloping Ghost arcade. That should be fun as well. Thanks for stopping by, Daryl. Take as much time as you need to process the news. I kind of have mixed feelings about it. We'll see what happens, but yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Happy Halloween. I think for stage 1, I'll take the parking lot route again. See ya. Oh yeah, I've been there like a few times. A 3rd annual event. Kind of a chill, small thing. I've got like the stickers. I think Pseudo Chell's her name. She makes like custom Sega stickers. So I've got the Shenmue guy. I've got two of the Yakuza guys. No, Yakuza Sarah Bryant. And I think this year it's a Super Monkey Ball character. The female monkey. I'm not remembering names at the moment. I'm not too familiar with those games. But yeah, that should be fun.
It's been 2 weeks since we lost contact.
Gotta come back to Discord just to see everyone's reacting to it. Yeah, Discord's always available if you want to rejoin it. The House of the Dead server.
Let's go, G.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Parking. I've got a Discord as well, but it's just for my channel. It's a little bit kind of smaller and more chill, but that's also there as well. I kind of muted the server because, I don't know, I kind of don't want to read too much of the comments over it. I'm getting in a bad mood. I just kind of want to go into it blind, my own expectations. But yeah. Barrels. This map is... I feel like this this level map's probably the biggest of the stages. A lot of detail.
Get away!
Get away!
What? A security guard? You gotta be kidding!
Let's keep going.
The guy coming out of the truck, I believe, has a lot of iframes. Shoot the sandbags, because the sandbags are worth so many points. I still find it wild that, like, out of all the destructible objects, the sandbags, like, wind up giving you, like, the most points to be shot repeatedly. It's just... And it's, like, only 2 instances of the sandbags in this whole stage. One at the start, which is guaranteed no matter what path you take, and then the sandbags in this parking lot, so you have to take the parking lot level. So strange.
Gee, above you!
But to be fair, like, this game in general, like, the scoring and the strategy is kind of weird to begin with. I guess it's part for the course. Alright, let's finish up this boss. There we go. He's down. For now.
Lisa, slide under it.
I was like halfway tempted to do the high scoring strategy, but I don't know. I just don't feel like it tonight. Like Death Crimson's OX raccoon statues. I really gotta play that game sometime.
You alright, Lisa?
Yeah, just a little shaken
That
up.
game is wild.
Was my father always involved in missions like this?
Yeah. Who knows how many times your father and I survived by the skin of our teeth? What do you think your father did for a living?
Look, Daniel. It's the key. This will remove the barrier between life and death. You don't need to fear anything anymore, Daniel. Not even death.
It would be cool in the movie if they had those cutscenes of Dr. Curien and Daniel. That would be kind of, like,
What happened?
exploring his relationship with his father and, like, having to live in the shadow of his father and deal with the sins that his father committed.
Your father and I put a...
Honestly, a film all about Dr. Curien and how he went insane, I think would be fun. Like a Joker-type movie, like the origin of Dr. Curien. I think would be twisted and messed up and interesting. But we shall see.
It's a dead end.
Did it before in, like, the first playthrough, blowing that guy to, like, 2 legs. His bad day is hearing the Z word too many times. Yeah, it's creature. Yeah, that's not canon. It says the word zombie.
Get through here.
Therefore, it's not House of the Dead canon.
Lisa, back me up.
I remember when I helped out on the House of the Dead wiki when I joined, and, like, the agreed upon terminology was zombie. But then I read the interviews about Takashi Oda saying, oh, actually, I prefer them to be called creatures. They're not actually zombies. I was like, wow, this... And I mentioned before how, like, you know, I guess Oda was intending House of the Dead to sort of subvert some of those tropes of zombies. Ironically enough, though, this game kind of has a few zombie tropes, like guys that have been killed, like the Rogan Commando soldier guys, they get killed and then they reanimate later. So that's very zombie-like. It's not explained exactly. It's like, although, like, the creature thing is still, like, a thing they agree upon, like, the series is very inconsistent, which is to be expected. It's an arcade franchise. They gotta quickly make the game. You gotta make sure the story isn't too complicated. It's understandable.
Out of my way!
I like how House of the Dead 4 discussed them, like, what are these things? Like, they don't really call them zombies, or what are these things? You know, they don't have, like, a name for it. They've never seen anything like that up until that point. Although there is an unused bit of dialogue from G in this game where he says the word zombies. He says something weird, like these zombies are like a group of women or something like that. But he says the Z word. It's probably in the file somewhere. There's like a ton of unused lines I mentioned before. You gotta shoot fast to react to that first claw attack.
What's that smell?
Yeah, I agree. Fits with the storyline, just calling them creatures, make them biologically engineered, and you clone them. Makes total sense.
Trapped.
Speaking of Railgun Guides, mention top 10 most popular House of the Dead bosses. How could anyone do this? Hey, what's up, Travis? Yeah, probably Magician's number one on that list. Keep forgetting YouTube chat. Sorry, guys. YouTube land. This phase. A little bit of point pressing, but I didn't fully commit to it.
Had enough yet?
Funny line. Had enough yet? Just cocks her gun. Get one life back.
So, you and
Unfortunately, the rate of fire of my gun for IR is a little bit slower than I'd like because of how the trigger kind of works. I'm just picking levels at random. I forget the optimal route for this game.
Maybe someone's trying to continue his legacy.
Tempted to like submit this to a 1cc marathon coming up.
Outside the bounds of human
Maybe.
morality, most of my researchers have left
We shall see, along with some other games if I can.
Lisa, wait!
Oops.
Unauthorized personnel detection.
This isn't
Security
good.
systems active.
Lisa,
Priority level
this
3
way.
areas locked down. Gee! Over there!
Not even Rogan was this persistent.
Point on the ground is rather hard to see. I missed the life up. Spawned it too soon. That's disappointing. Oh yeah, the other thing too, in the arcade version for this game, not every partner rescue actually will give you a life. Some do and some don't. I think on all the home ports, I think every partner rescue gives you a life up. Not every other one or certain ones over others, basically.
Lisa, back me up!
Let's see this one. That's a life up. So I think it's every partner rescue in this version, not every other partner rescue, whatever. No. The arcade version. See, arcade versions, like the actual original arcade versions, probably the most challenging of the bunch, I think. Reload issues on the home ports, like Wii aside. At least it's not like raining extra lives like it is in, Virtual 3.
Going back there again.
That game gives you so many extra lives on that. Apparently you can get Virtual Cop 3 playable on Xbox. I'm probably gonna get hit here. Yep. A little bit too slow. That's pretty strange. Apparently you can get Virtual Cop 3 playable on PC or on Xbox. You modify the RAM or something, memory on it. You can get it playable. That game was never ported. Bit of a disappointment because it's a pretty good light gun game actually. One of my favorites. It was on the same hardware, and then, as mentioned before, Kevin Miller, who plays Daniel Curian in this game, he went on to voice Smarty, James Cools, in Virtual Cop 3. Around the same time. And then he did some stuff in Jet Set Radio, so he probably maybe had a contract to do some voice lines for these games, and just got him involved. That's gotta hurt. I like the generic zombie growls on the wind-up zombie. There we go. Boy, get the. You usually can get a twin shot there. Shoot him enough. final stretch for this boss.
Off already.
Come on. Final part's always the hardest. Yes. And he is toast.
When a lady says no, she means it.
Man, I am sweating bullets. It's like, man, probably the most exhausting of the House of the Deads. Really gotta get physical with that shotgun. Whatever gun you use. I can get a lot more A ranks. I feel like the slower speed on my gun definitely could contribute to the lower ranks, but that's fine. There. Oh god. Now we get this level.
Sorry.
This boss.
Should have reacted faster back there.
You're being awfully honest, aren't you? Don't
For
sweat.
some reason I thought I was on the final stage already, but I forgot. No, I've got one more fight. Got the sun.
I found it, Daniel. These genes will change the future. The magician and the wheel of fate.
You getting along with Rogan?
I don't know.
I forgot about that Week of the
My
Dead
father always had to work ahead of his family.
campaign, but I think
I
I
barely
made like
have any memories of him spending time with
170
my
some bucks
Ouch.
on that charity set's nice.
Well, what do you expect? He's always.
I'm not sure if the campaign is still going on or if they closed it off.
Mom.
I think it may still be going on. I'll plug them just in case after the stream. For the Week of the Dead breast cancer charity that's going on. I think a lot of it's already been sold out. There may still be some available, but there's some stuff being given away as incentives for donations. Electropunk, who runs the event, been working hard to get in contact with some voice actors from these games. We got Eric Kelso, who's from some Shenmue stuff. He voices Mark Goddard in Time Crisis 5. There's a Lycan stuff. Chris Okawa's Thomas Rogan and Magician in the House of the Dead remake. And Daniel Duncan is the voice of a commissioner kind of announcer voice in the House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn Japanese attraction, which is pretty wild. So I'll definitely link to their account at the end.
We're in some giant plant.
Lisa, back me up.
The guy was winding up for the pitch there. Alright,
Fine.
another headache.
But what the hell is that thing?
This darn boss.
Watch out. Lisa, this way.
I'm not ready to be pushing up daisies just yet.
I think this boss gave me a lot of trouble, definitely, when I first played this game. It's so exhausting. Gosh, even with the reload button on the side of my gun, this fight is so exhausting. Nearly failed there. Head phase should be here. Yep. Barely stopped it. There you go. So the strategy is to empty a full clip and then reload when the head tries to get close to you like that. It doesn't bite you, it will like spit, it shoots like spores or whatever, and it'll just spit them right in your face. And you can't block the projectile by then. It pretty much is just an instant hit.
Looks like it'll open if we shoot it.
Oh, you'll be right, Lisa. Oh yeah, the gold magician items. Got a twin shot there. There's a part where the combo timer resets and the camera changes, or some weird stuff. All this entire game is just about time. Just how fast you can kill enemies when they appear, time attack, clear the stage. It gives you the how much time it took for you to beat the stage. There it is, a jolly good S right there.
Worried about Rogan?
I know just what Dad would say if he was here. You've got to believe in yourself, Lisa. He always says the same thing over and over. I'm sick of it.
I love G's reaction there. I feel like I made a meme out of that. Just like, G's just looking at the camera like that. He just, oh man, he just looks like he's so done with life. Like, why me? Help.
I'm not gonna stop until I find my dad.
So I kind of sacrifice a bit of points here. Not getting the speed kill on that one on that one creature, excuse me. Gosh. I gotta stop myself from using the Z word. But the, I'm pretty sure the robot is actually worth more points in that moment. It's a rare item. It's most certainly the highest scoring of the items. All right. Still alive. That's what I kind of like sometimes enemies will like be split in half and they'll still be alive and they'll crawl at you. Like it's a pretty cool effect. They're still not dead, they just keep coming.
Dad, I knew you were alive.
This is a really brilliant kind of design choice.
Wait, Gene!
Pleased to meet you, Mr. G. My name is Daniel Carrion. Dr. Carrion was my father. I believe you knew him well.
It may be hard to
Counts of
believe.
the Dead.
He's the one who saved my life. He's the only one who can prevent disaster. I have to go!
Can't. You're hurt. I'll go. Gee, take care of Dad.
Oh yeah, and this, I think I vaguely mentioned it in the start of the stream. This is like the first game where you have multiple playable characters. So the prologue chapter, you play as Thomas Rogan and Dan Taylor
Believe in yourself.
when they raid the building and then they go missing. For most of the game, you play as Lisa and G, and then this end part, you play as Daniel and Lisa.
Just wait.
It's a pretty cool idea. None of the other House of the Dead games really did that. It's just the same characters throughout.
Get back. Not your fight.
This game definitely tried new things. Not that all the things work, but I do commend it for trying those things, and some of the things it tries I think work well. It's kind of, the House of the Dead series I think is pretty interesting. Kind of like Time Crisis, where like all the games kind of do something different each. So you can kind of pick one that kind of gels with you in terms of gameplay design and presentation, and I guess that can be your favorite. At least that's the way I view it. They're all unique. But I feel like there's something for everyone. Like if you don't like House of the Dead 3, maybe there's something in House of the Dead 4 or 1 or 2 or Scarlet Dawn you may like.
What is it that they're trying to protect?
still crawling, coming after me. I gotta finish the job. Man, I haven't even gotten that.
What
I
the?
think I was just a few shots short for that robot. So quick.
I've spent the
Stop
last
it.
19 years watching this evil grow. I know it's dangerous. I always know it. But the wheel of fate must be broken.
But how?
I managed to hack the program. That should give us the opening.
So I won't dare do the score strategy on this one.
I just wanted
Um,
to ask.
Let's finish this Halloween stream off well with hopefully another 1cc.
The rest of my life bearing the burden of my father's crime.
And hats off the House of the Dead 3 for 5 years of horror in terms of the events. Playing this on the actual day, like Halloween 2019. I have an old stream of that somewhere. I think I have it unlisted, but it's in one of my playlists. That was pretty wild. Wish the stream quality itself was a bit better though. Anyway, let's get this taken care of. You and me, Kyrian. Alright. I'm pretty sure all these phases are completely random. It's kind of hard to tell what the icons on the wheel itself are. I think one of the icons is actually like Kyrian's insignia, which I think is in House of the Dead 1 on a building. On the walkway in Chapter 2 with the chainsaw guy attacking the one hostage. Maybe I'm just seeing things. I don't think I ever got this phase in the first 2 times I played him. I don't remember it. Just another random one. If you just kind of shoot quick and shoot through the projectiles and go for his weak point, which is his chest, the emblem on his chest, you can kind of blow it through it. Yeah, that's the insignia, the 2 lions. Was this distant phase again? While this game takes a lot of cues from Vampire Knights, I'm kind of glad that maybe the folks at Sega realized that the final boss of Vampire Knight was a bit too insane. So Wheel of Fate's still like a challenge the first time you play them a couple of times. And there's a lot of trickery involved, especially if you have like epilepsy problems, like the flashing lights. It can actually be disorienting. But with practice, like you need to work hard at the fight, but it's still very much doable. And then eventually you realize like every mistake you make is your fault. There is some RNG to the fight, but you know, you get ample warning when a phase starts, and you can know how to deal with it. That's like the thing I recommend for people like trying to get good at light gun games. Like, record yourself playing and rewatch the recordings, see what you can do differently, watch other people play. There's a lot you can do to learn. It'd be cool to like make like tutorial videos, but it's just been I've been so busy with work, so I'm not sure if that ever happened. Alright. Just a little bit. Still alive. I was thinking about getting a bit more points by shooting his legs. prolong the inevitable, I guess. Yeah, like this is the strategy. Imagine doing this, but like while he's at full health and kind of inching her way down. Like this fight legitimately can go on for like what JD said, like 10, 15 minutes. I'm doing it just for extra points, and also I'm at max health. So yeah, gotta get that fixed for the reload sound not playing. Look at his health. He's like nothing. He's like a glass cannon now. There we go. 1 CC. Happy Halloween, you metallic monster. Literally, his health bar was empty. That's... It's always like the worst feeling too, if you like die or take damage and the boss is like a pixel of health away. It's definitely happened to me a few times. I'm sure it's happened to others too. You're not my father! It's not a House of the Dead game without something blowing up at the end.
I'm no longer bound by the past. I begin walking toward the future.
Hey, let's go! They're waiting for us.
Well, what a night. Jeez. 2.5 hours. Man, a lot of...
Actually,
Despite the fact this is like a kind of a short game, and maybe because I let the cutscenes play out, it's a little bit longer.
It's there.
You can kind of speedrun the game a bit more. Maybe in the future I'll do time attack. That could be fun. But I'm super busy.
The rest
Maybe another time.
believe in themselves and walk
I like the ending theme. There's something nostalgic about it.
themselves. Lisa's starting to sound a lot
Triumphant,
Oh, wait a minute.
a little bit melancholy,
I guess things are already starting.
because the world still... Oh, we got this ending. This ending's awesome.
Hey, Dad!
Lisa, what's wrong?
What?
Let me get this line.
Hey, that's my car, you slimy bastards! Say your prayers.
So the endings in this game are based on the credits you've gotten and the order in which you play the levels. There's a general ending if you don't once you see the game where Daniel just looks at the building and says he'll go back if humans come down the wrong route again. Hey, first place. Don't know if that's a new PB, but at least on this version of the game, but I'll take a look at the scores and I'll probably make a highlight of this later on Twitch. The only other ending we didn't get was the Thornheart ending. Kind of a creepy ending with the music and the guy's voice, but Thornheart from House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn and House of the Dead 4 kind of... He walked into the chamber where Wheel of Fate used to be and he picks up the genes and says they have a true purpose. Sadly, we don't know what's going on because that is a personal best by 1,000 points or something. We don't know what happens, because there's to date never been a sequel to this game that takes place after House of the Dead 3 in 2019. So, here's hoping we get that in the future. Thanks for continuing the explosion tradition, James. Yeah. They cut you slimy bastards in the arcade along with other minor swear words. They did. When Lisa says before the sun fight, "What the hell is that thing?" In the arcade version, she just says, "What the?" And then this ending, instead of in the joke ending, which I think the creature driving the car, I think is actually based on Peter Moore. I think he used to be CEO of Sega of America or something. But instead of saying "you slimy bastards," in the arcade version, Lisa says, "Let's keep after them," or something. I had never seen that ending except on the Xbox version, so it's kind of weird when I got it in the arcade, and I wasn't used to the swears being censored. But it makes total sense, because it's the arcade version. Although they don't... Damn and hell, I think you do hear in House of the Dead 4. Right? Damn, at least, or dang. There's a few versions of damn, I think, right? Now I'm thinking about swears. Hell is definitely in House of the Dead 2. What the hell is going on in this city? And then Overkill is Overkill. Everyone knows Overkill. I've actually never played through Overkill. Maybe one day I'll get it. I do see it is on for sale on Steam. The Typing of the Dead version.
Mankind has ever encountered.
Yeah, that's House of the Dead 3.
Can't wait any longer.
That is pretty much the conclusion of my Halloween stream. I'm extremely exhausted. Well, I want to give a big shout out to everyone for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, I just wanted to play through this game a few times. It's you know, House of the Dead's awesome.
Got to believe in
You know, it's a perfect Halloween game.
I'm not
I've played through some of the other games, but I definitely wanted to do the third for Halloween simply because this game takes place on the same day. And yeah, there's something nostalgic about this game years later, even if like it's not my favorite. Just like the early 2000s arcades I'd frequent, you know, I had memories playing this with my dad. It's a good game. Just don't play for score. Just play casually, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna close the game here, so the capture's probably gonna go black. Or pause. Yeah, it's gonna go black. I'm doing that because, unfortunately, that's just how it works with my capture. But I'll quickly find someone to raid, and I will log off here. Let's see who is going on. I'll raid Aquas. He's playing Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins on PSP. He's doing like a speed run. So I'll give him a raid. If I can actually get this going. Yeah, I give Aquas a raid. And I will sign off here. Hope everyone has a happy Halloween, and thanks for watching. And hopefully in the future I'll go live again whenever I'm available. But until then, have a happy Halloween, happy 5th anniversary to the events of House of the Dead 3, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and take care.